We have LA Galaxy head coach Greg Vanney with us now. We'll go ahead and jump straight into questions. First from Damian Calhoun. Damian, go ahead.
Hey, Greg. Sartini was just in here, and he said that he thought they deserved a tie, and the wins are still. What are your thoughts on how the last 12, 15 minutes there played out?
Yeah, I thought I don't know exactly what minute they scored.
81st, I think?
Yeah, but I thought for 70 plus, we by and large were in great control of the game. I mean, I think at the end of the first half, they might have had a decent chance off of one of our errors, but I thought we were in very good control. I thought we had, like we've had over the course of the season, we've had a lot of really good opportunities to take the game to 2-0. Looks on goal, attacks to have the right numbers, opportunities to create separation. We don't, and then we don't manage the game, and I put myself in that too. We don't manage the final 15 to 15 or so minutes. It became a catch-22 as we were up 1-0. I was preparing a potential third center back sub just because I felt like maybe it wasn't our day to get a goal, and we needed to see it out. And about as that player was warming up, we gave up one, and then the questions are, with what's left, do you still go to the third, or do you keep a group on the field and still try to prevent yourself from getting into a shutout prevent getting into a shootout, and then we give up the second, or we're a few minutes away, and I just feel like we're trying to get shooters on the field with the final 2 minutes of regulation. We're just trying to get the guys that we feel are competent shooters on the field, and leaving some of them on the field that were tired. Douglas looked tired, obviously, but he's one of our primary shooters. So it's finding a balance between seeing the game out and having your guys out there that you feel like can win it, and the shootout if you get there. And I didn't love in hindsight, I didn't love the final stages of the game, both on the field and with some of the decisions that we made.
As you look at, the two goals were, you consider them fluke goals off Caligari, and then the second one, was it deflected, then fell into White's path there? That's things like that have happened to you guys. This year, and also the lack of finishing.
Yeah.
How disappointing is this moment here?
Yeah, it's extremely frustrating. I felt like this was, a microcosm of some of the games we've had through the course of the season, where again, it's not necessarily that we had a lot of shots on target per se. We missed target. We're around the area. We get things blocked. We're just not clinical in the final action. And when you don't do that with teams that you are, I believe, dominating through large stretches of the game, they hang around. You can put them away, and the game is done, and their spirit is broken, and you can see it out. But because they kept hanging around at 1-0, there wasn't a broken spirit. They were always just kind of around. Even in the moments when it seemed like we were dominating, they were still hanging around because we weren't putting them away. That's just, for me, it's execution. We have to execute. I'm not a big believer in luck when it comes to playing. Sometimes like what happened to Gaston the other night and the issue and the injury and stuff like that I take down as just like, again, I don't know that it's luck, but I'm just like, that's just disappointing. That's one of those things that you sometimes can't control. But inside the game, when you're competing and you're performing, there's a lot of things that you can control. We could step out and we could contest those flighted balls in the air better. We could head them out and clear them, but we're kind of dropping off, and we're allowing those balls to come into our box instead of contesting them in the air, And when you don't contest and things get kind of flicked around or deflected, then you run the risk of things not going right for you. And I feel like they aren't going right for us. You could put that in the luck category, but I think if we can be stronger and contest and be more physical, because there was a lot of duels, just physical duels that I felt like we lost over the course of the night, that are just one-on-one combative sort of moments that led to some dangerous moments. And I feel like that was a little bit down the stretch when they are, they're kind of striking some hopeful balls into the box and looking for something to come from it. They got it. It's because we don't deal with those things. Either we don't take away the point of the service by getting pressure to the ball, we don't contest in the air, which was exactly how they scored the first goal against us in Vancouver, is we lose the contest when the ball's up in the air. This particular one wasn't direct, but the deflections created a anything can happen moment, and of course it didn't go our way. But again, we've got to be better at doing that, dealing with those situations.
Hey, Greg, thanks for your time. You mentioned Gaston's injury. Yuri Rose came in tonight to spell for him. What do you think of his performance tonight?
Yeah, again, in for large stretches of the games, I thought he was solid. I think he hasn't played a ton of 90-minute games over the course of the season, so I do think he was getting a little bit fatigued over the course of it. And also, there's times where numbers, Ricky or Douglas, sometimes drop down in those positions, and guys are trying to clear space, and so then our pivot goes running forward, and it doesn't hurt us in the moment, but and it also sometimes is good for us, but it does wear on a guy who hasn't played a lot of games over the course of the season to be doing a lot of that extra sort of running and work, and I felt like the game just started to wear on him. He wasn't one of our primary shooters, so down in those last 2 or 3 minutes, it was when I thought, okay, just some fresh legs in midfield. Kelvin's done this job for us and does it for his national team. He is one of the guys that we would put out there to shoot. We wanted to see the final couple minutes out, and we didn't. And but again, I thought by and large, I thought he had a solid professional game.
How does the team recover mentally from this elimination for that last push in the last half of the season? And what do you guys intend to focus on in the 20-day layoff?
Yeah, again, I think there's a long window between now and then, and so I think part of it is recovering. We've got a couple guys with some bumps and bruises and things that need to heal. We'll hit the training ground is almost like it's once we recover a little bit. I will not have a preseason because nobody wants to run the guys, but to just tighten up some things, to work at hopefully have a couple additions that will add the group, but we have some ideas on how we want to evolve the group for the final stretch. And that's what we need to focus on here on this last bit. We've got to be stingier about not giving up goals, especially the way we did tonight late. And we've got to try to do everything we can to execute better in the final moments. I don't know, again, if that comes down to training, repetition, and just getting guys more confident and comfortable in front of the goal. We're seeking in the final hours whatever additions we may or may not be able to make. It's not such an easy window given the circumstances, and so we can't sometimes make our own fortune. We're sort of we're at the mercy of who's free or who's willing to get rid of or move something, because we don't really have control of because of the transfer ban, which has been really interesting part of this process. But those are the ways. Those are the ways we have to be ready. But I think the resiliency of the group and the mentality has always been for us to be ready for those final 12 games, one game at a time, like each game is a final, and compete. And we have a fair number of those. I think 7 of the 12 are at home, and we need to have the mentality that we've got to win those games that are at home.
Greg, that's all for today. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.